Hi there, welcome to FMCG by Alex. I'm Alex, and today I would like to talk to you about customer psychology. First of all, let's deal with your fear of rejection. I guess you have one. I also, it's human. It's basically something that doesn't go away. It's actually something you just learn to deal with a little bit better when you get older. So fear of rejection actually comes to you as you hear no, so you offer your product, the customer refuses, so the retailer refuses to stock it, or the restaurant refuses to buy, or whatever customer refuses to buy. It can also be in a B2B setting, obviously. But finding the true reasons for rejection are sometimes not as clear. Yeah? It's not as clear to find out what the real reason is behind the rejection. So this can be from very, very many reasons that people are not willing to give you the time of day or buy from you. So first of all, the most obvious one is they don't know you. They don't know your company. So normally that is the thing. If you look at your business card, the most important name on your business card is your company name. Then the second thing is actually your title, and the third one is your name. So if the company is Coca-Cola, it's very easy. People know the company, so they don't question what is it, what can Coca-Cola do for me, or are they there tomorrow. If it's an unknown name for them, yeah, it's more difficult for them to trust the company. So it's more like a trust issue that you build. So not known, it means like people are not interested in getting to know you or dealing with people who might not have a like a reputation that they can build on, in the sense of will you actually be easy to work with or difficult. So they just don't have the stomach to find out. Then one of the other things that it's really important is to provide value for your customers. So if you want to deal with fear of rejection or deal with rejection, basically, you need to start by turning it around. So, rather than trying the hard sell, like, okay, I'm unknown, I meet you for the first time, and really I'm all about business right away, you try to get a little bit of undertone. So, normally a conversation is something that really opens up. So, actually, this is something I've learned over the years, and also the hard way. I used to be very much straight to the point. Some people also prefer that. You have to read the room a bit, but the most people actually love talking about themselves. There are very rare people who are like, we call it professional idiots, basically, who only want to talk about work, and 24/7 they only think about one thing. Now, yeah, then you can talk about business because that's what they're about. Then they're also really passionate about that business. I can say professional idiot is not a nice thing to say, but I mean that's the official term for this sort of people. Everybody's a professional idiot in his own way, but one more than the other. So providing value for customers basically means also that when you converse with people, you talk about them personally, but then also frustrations come up. Oh, I'm so fed up with this supplier because they're always late, or why does it always have to come in? Why I always have to order 10 of these when I only need one? That's basically one of the things that you need to read, you need to adapt to, and providing value basically means also you come up with solutions. You are coming up with information. You're coming up with, at least sympathy in that sense. Like, people are bored in their office, spending maybe, an hour talking to you, or not even an hour, maybe even half an hour talking to you. That might actually lighten up their day, and, become friends first. The business will follow. So then another part of the rejection process is actually that it could be an error in your approach, or there could be a timing issue. So the approach could be indeed, you come in with a completely different angle than these people are receptive to. So if you come on with, for example, purely a price issue, well, actually price is not an issue for them. Maybe reliability is something they are really into. Product quality, they are really very much into. This product has the quality we need. Why should we buy from you? That's basically from a B2B setting. And in essence, yeah, sometimes you basically have a certain procedure you need to follow in order to get the meeting with a buyer. So let's say Europe, you have a little bit more, what you see is what you get. So the people are not that important. the content is, and in Asia you have more a context over content. So it's more like who is asking for the meeting, if it's a CEO of a company, or you get the right introduction through someone. Then that's actually something that can really make a difference in getting the meeting and getting also a result that you can take home. In Europe, you have more of an approach where you're looking at the actual thing you want to sell, the content. If it's not good, they can like you as much as you want. You can have an introduction from the king of the Netherlands himself, basically. But I mean, even that will not you know sway anyone here to buy from you if they don't want to. So that's the part of the approach. So the protocol, the procedure, basically. And how you speak to people. I think I've gone into this in a previous video already, but people process information in a different way. Some people are visual. So most people are visual, actually. It's maybe 65%, maybe even 70% of the people in the world are visual. That's also the reason I put pretty pictures in every slide I am preparing for you guys. And there are people who are auditive, so they listen, they need to hear the information. And there are kinesthetic people. So you have people who need to feel, the product. They have more like they speak also in feeling. So if you have people who say, I see what you mean, those are visual people. I hear you, auditive people, or I feel like this. That is basically kinesthetic people. It's tells, yeah. It doesn't always apply to everybody, but I mean, it has to be a pattern. That's what I mean. So you don't have to say, oh, someone says something once, then oh, this is a kinesthetic person, but it's an indication of what kind of person this is. Now, how do you use this to your advantage? If you look at preparing your presentation or your whatever you need to present to these people, you have a basically an issue with regards to getting all of these senses involved. So one of the things that you need to do is actually prepare something for people to see. You need to tell them here, they need to hear, see, hear, and you need to be able to give the product for them to feel, to taste, etc. So that's actually very important for people to experience, and you have all the senses basically that people can come into. Now, basically, the timing issue is also one of the things that you need to get into. The timing issue is that sometimes it's the wrong time of approach, so they are very busy, or it's not time for reshuffle of the category. That's the stuff you really need to make sure that you are timing properly before you approach your retailer. So when dealing with retail, the most important question you need to ask is, does your brand or product increase the category sales? So imagine I am selling, let's say, peanut butter, so a jar of peanut butter. Adding more peanut butter to the, let's say, already 13 or 14 varieties I have on my shelf. If I add a 15th one or 15th brand, maybe it's exactly the same, but the taste is slightly different. So not specific flavors or anything like that. Does it increase the total sales of peanut butter in my store? Now, that's one of the biggest questions that needs to be answered. And sometimes it's just so obvious that it's not. So in the end, it's a matter of rejection because of a rule of thumb analysis or a back of the envelope analysis, so to speak, that this is not the case. So people are not always looking at a scientific fact. If you can actually show data that these your product is actually getting traction in other stores, you have a core following, you have a lot of marketing activity surrounding it, in-store activity or online activity, maybe also some above the line activity, meaning like above the line advertising, basically with marketing. So in the end, these are things that influence the decision to stock the product or not. So one of the other things could be, let's say, local or regional relevance. So I used to have like a regional brand, which is only relevant for stores actually in this particular area of the Netherlands. But I mean, that was the reason they were stocking it. So I didn't have to, splash on a lot of marketing or in-store activations. It's just a matter of like once in a while a promotion we were running, but apart from that was pretty light. So in the end, it was just a matter of, okay, I have this product in my store, so people come to my store. They have a core following. There are people who look for this sort of product in my store, and if I have it, I am complete. So I have everything that people want, and I have specific people who would otherwise not come to my store come to my store. So that is one of the things that you need to really, yeah, look at. Yeah, in terms of does your brand increase category sales? It could also mean like, okay, more traffic to the store is also of course an increase in sales. So that is one of the drivers where you don't always have to fill all those kind of tick all those boxes. But I mean, more traffic to the store, does this bring people to my store? That is actually the main driver as well. So um, then we're coming to timing for category reviews or tender offers. Now, what does that mean? Retailers review categories actually at headquarter level, maybe once, maybe twice a year. There are, depends a little bit on the country. They have different, they call it reshuffles basically, or you know, remix basically of the complete assortment. So they normally rank everything. They cut off the bottom 10%, and they are looking at new products that they can put on the shelf, because usually supermarkets, they don't have space left. So anything that needs to go in, something has to go out. So that is also one of the things that is always the tug of war between suppliers and retailers, that say, okay, if I put this in, what will you take out? So you need to maybe exchange one of your products for something else, or if there is are no poor performers actually that are being able to take out. So this is one of the things that you need to keep in mind, that the timing is actually very crucial. So let's say in Indonesia, for example, you have normally July, August, maybe September, people start making appointments for this annual trading term negotiation. That's also the moment when you list new products and you negotiate that. Now, tender offers, it's called differently in some stores, but it's in essence, if you have something that is considered a commodity, like fruit and vegetables. So if you are supplying fruit, vegetables, meat, etc. So normally these guys are looking at different suppliers, because these are, yeah, let's say homogeneous products. So you are talking about generic products. Maybe quality is different, but I mean, meat is meat, an apple is an apple, different grades and all those things. But normally, this is very much a price based purchase from retailers. So, who offers the lowest price gets it. So, let's say Aldi in the Netherlands, for example, and Germany, they have a lot of stores all over Europe, even to Australia, I believe, US. Aldi has this tender system, for example, where the fruit and vegetable suppliers, they get, sometimes they're allowed to earn something, sometimes they have to, probably do it at cost price just to keep the account. So this is something, I mean, the power of the large volume buyers actually in this case, that they say, okay, we can really get command really low prices, and consumers are very happy, of course, because Aldi is one of the deep discounters in the world, and very successful retail formula. I love shopping there myself. So the thing with tender offers is also that it has a certain cycle, so it's also time sensitive. So for example, if you see something where every Monday morning you have to have your offering on the desk of the buyer, otherwise you are not considered at all for the weekly purchases, for example. If you send in your price list on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, yeah, then you're out because all the volume has been allocated. Now, mostly for that sort of stuff, they will not pick one supplier to do everything. They will split it between a couple of suppliers, but to be considered, yeah, the timing is quite essential, and of course, you still have to have the right price for them. Then the last thing I want to add here is that the phenomenon of groupage distributors. So let's say large supermarket chains, let's say a large one in the Netherlands called Albert Heijn, which is part of the Ahold Delhaize group. You have basically various formulas all over the world that belong to this behemoth of retail. Basically, it's a very good supermarket chain, very profitable. They have quite a strong footprint in many markets. The thing is with regards to that company, so when you are a new supplier and you don't do business above a certain level, for them it is not feasible, and it's not unwillingness, yeah, because they're very nice people and they would like to help you, but uh, it's just not feasible to actually put a supplier, no matter how much they need the product and how much the category manager would like to add it, to supply it directly. So they are looking to place you with a groupage distributor. So this groupage distributor is the idea of everything on one invoice. So we have, instead of, like, 100,000 suppliers, we have maybe only 1,000 suppliers, which is already quite a lot, maybe to handle. So you don't have millions of invoices that you need to hire like another 100 employees for to process. So this is purely an administrative process. So normally the road is actually not going to a distributor, but actually going to the retailer, and then asking the retailer, oh, hey guys, if you can't list me directly as a supplier, but you like the product, who can I connect to in order to supply it to you? So that is called a groupage distributor. It's not free, so they will have their fee structure. It can be a symbolic fee, like a handling fee, but it can also be that they say, okay, no, access to this retailer, yeah, you have to pay. So in the end, it's another cost you need to add to doing business with this retailer. So that's something that I've experienced myself. For example, when I had my regional brand, I was only supplying the Albert Heijn stores inside the province that I was based in, because outside I wasn't allowed to. That was purely a regional program, and because the product was regional. Now, the thing was that we had to go through a groupage distributor. So in every province, they had a company supplying craft beer for the specific province, and we had to all send our, you know, receipt of delivery. We delivery receipt we had to send to a groupage distributor, who would then turn it into an invoice, and we would invoice that distributor in turn. So they would, get from 64 or 65 different companies, they would get an invoice, but Albert Heijn would only get one from that groupage distributor. So this is one of the phenomena you will have to deal with. So keep in mind that a rejection might not mean that they don't want to do business with you, but if they don't nudge you into that direction, uh, yeah, try and be creative. That is what we call reverse engineering. So you first go to the retailer and say, okay, if you would like to have it, which distributor could supply it? If you go to these distributors, namely, they might not be able to help you because they don't have any key account people to push it in, or make that deal for you. Basically, the only company that really could, or the only people that can really make the deal for you, is people of your own company, because who knows more about the product or the brand than you. So this is one of the things I wanted to share with you. Then, when dealing with Horeca is a completely different beast. So you're talking about restaurants, food service, quick serve restaurant, basically that sort of thing. The importance of a supplier there. So you will deal a lot with, if you have only one brand. Okay, they might, depending on the restaurant, they might allow you to supply, but even there they will have a system of groupage. So they have maybe everything as much as possible on one invoice. So for their supplies, it's very important to be complete, to be reliable, and to be flexible. So price is important, but reliable. You have to imagine that restaurants, they have a certain operating time. So they open up at a certain time when the food has to be ready. So customers come in, they order food. If there is no food or no beverages, yeah, they can't operate. So they need to have their goods at a specific time, and nothing can be missing. So a retailer sometimes, okay, I'll leave the shelf open, or I just broaden my display of another product a little bit, and hey, nobody sees. So that sense, not something that you would like to see also as a retailer, don't get me wrong, but for Horeca, that's completely not an option. So something that is not supplied today, they can't use as an ingredient, therefore they can't cook, they can't serve the customers their food or beverage, basically. So if you, as a supplier, are not able to consistently supply, you have a problem because they will not deal with you. They will not want to deal with you. That's why reputation of the company that they deal with is very important. So the completeness and reliability, but also flexibility in case they need something else. Oh, hey, I forgot to order something. It's humans. Normally humans are ordering, so it's not something that is ordered by system like in retail, where you have a minimum stock that is replenished. But I mean, there is still a big human factor, especially because if the chef is ordering, then might miscalculate. Maybe halfway through the day they're already out of something or almost out of something, or they need more, or they have big party that they need to, so they need to order more. Then flexibility is there to say, okay, we have a quick delivery service, for example, or you can order more in that sense whenever you need it. So in the end, this is one of the things that really makes the difference between suppliers. So suppliers both where they have cash and carry, so people can go there and buy. That is even more flexible, I guess. But the point is, like most of the delivery services, okay, I need to have it before a certain time, and it has to be complete. You can't miss that window because that's when my team is starting up. That's when I'm starting to cook. That's when I'm starting to prepare the food, and I can't, sell no to my customers. And every minute I'm not operating, every minute I'm not able to supply that, yeah, I'm losing money. So that's the concept of a restaurant. It has to be complete, has to be there. So as much as possible, in one invoice, like I mentioned, is the groupage distributor. When you say, they don't want to have small suppliers, but at the back door, because administratively that's a nightmare. Some companies are more flexible than others. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, if you look at especially large chains, they just don't want that. So okay, there's it's just too much hassle, too much headache. Even though it might be a nice product, even though they might love it, there is just an issue with that sort of thing. Plus, different payment terms. Like normally these larger wholesalers that they buy from, they have extended payment terms, and yeah, not to mention also bonus systems and volume contracts. So let's say, I'm a small craft beer supplier and I am trying to sell a box of beer at the back door. So first of all, it's not a main product because their main product might be one of the big breweries that is actually doing business with them. So they have a contract with that brewery, volume contract. So okay, I'm doing so many hectoliters basically, throughout my chain. So in the end, it's a matter of bonus system based on that, and that will be jeopardized as soon as they start deviating from that. So when they have these small suppliers, even though it might be a very nice addition. So, and inside the restaurant, you will not have 100 people who sit there and eat, drink your beer. So in that sense, it's also a matter of it's already a side product basically. Okay, I feel like it, and it's a niche product usually. So that was the challenge I was facing at that time with craft beer. But it goes with everything. If you have a soft drink, for example, that you would like to serve to quick serve restaurants, or have on the menu some sort of craft soda or something like that. Usually, it's more like a uh, yeah side product for them. So if they like you, personal thing, they would be interested. But normally, if it interferes with the bonus system and yeah, a volume contract that is in place with the large guys, yeah, you will, they rather just not deal with you. So no matter how fun it is, basically. So this is one of the things that is a challenge with Horeca. This is international, so it works the same everywhere around the world. Some uh, Horeca contracts are a bit more, you know, cutthroat than others, obviously. By law, for example, in the Netherlands, suppliers of craft beer, they're not allowed to exclude anyone from supplying it. Used to be that the big breweries would, for example, forbid a, a Horeca outlet to sell other beer than theirs. Now, by law, that has been they have been reprimanded. They have been forced to actually allow, at least in bottles, that smaller breweries are allowed to sell to these Horeca outlets. So by contract, they're not allowed to enforce that anymore. That the only one. So this is one of the things that, yeah, I guess is a challenge still for smaller suppliers, where you are trying to break into a larger system. To be honest, with regards to Horeca, as long as it's more fragmented, a fragmented market, let's say like Indonesia versus the Netherlands. Indonesia has a less structured market, which is a very big benefit. Yeah, there's just it's mainly less structured because it's just so huge, So there's so many different. I think there's something like 27 million Horeca outlets there. Now, yeah, the Netherlands is not even that many that many inhabitants basically. So the population of the Netherlands is smaller than the number of Horeca outlets in Indonesia. So in the end, it's something that you need to keep in mind in terms of. Yeah, when dealing with this, where the Netherlands is very structured, and that goes for every single country in Europe, I guess, with regards to the structure of the market, where the wholesaler also has contracts in place. Okay, we always get our stuff through them. The point is, for your brand, you need to go through that wholesaler, not so much trying to go through the back door. And getting into that wholesaler is obviously a little bit tricky, but if you say, oh, I have 20 restaurants that I have convinced to stock my brand, but it needs to go through that wholesaler, then that wholesaler definitely is happy to bring that box to these restaurants. So that's the way, again, to reverse engineer it. Start with the source. Now, come to the final slide of the presentation. So this is actually where we are addressing multiple touch points. So in order to stay top of mind of the retailer or Horeca outlet, whoever the customer is, basically, you need to stay in their face. Yeah, you need to stay. In essence, you start with informing them you exist, but apart from that, you need to have an excuse to remind them of your existence, basically, so what you can offer. Normally, being too pushy salesman, that has a bad rap in the world. So, like you say, secondhand car salesman who's trying to make the deal, and you can't leave this car lot in order to go about your business before you bought a car. That's one of those things where people really hate that in every single industry, I guess. But I mean, that's why secondhand car salespeople have that reputation, I guess, or a bad reputation. Not everybody is like that, by the way. But the point here is that to stay top of mind is like, without being pushy, you're trying to remind people that what you're offering, the benefits of your product. So once in a while, a visit can really be the door opener. Depending on how you present yourself, if there is an opening. So, and normally you have to imagine that you can't go in and expect to get all of their business. So that is, set your sights in a very realistic manner, where you go from incidental or backup supplier, where you work your way up by proving consistently that you are there when the other one drops the ball. So if the other one drops the ball too often, or you're consistently cheaper also when you do it, consistently better and cheaper, that is basically the thing. You basically can convince them to promote you from backup supplier to main supplier at some point. That is actually the holy grail of this process. So there are, in essence, issues where you say, okay, good, fast, and cheap. So only two of those can apply. So good, fast, and cheap. So you can have good and fast, or good and cheap. But then not fast. So as soon as you are looking at all three, yeah, then the price also goes up. Yeah, so it's basically one of the things that you need to imagine, that yeah, the it comes at a cost when you need to have good, fast, and cheap all rolled into one. And in essence, yeah, with regards to becoming the main supplier of one of these retailers, or also Horeca outlets, you need to basically consistently perform. You need to invest also maybe from several years in trying to cultivate that relationship, in essence. And yeah, like I said, for small brands, that can be quite an investment that they are not willing or able to make. Um, Again, I'm really thinking like, you can do this where you inform people that you exist, inform them of your assortment, and then let the distribution be handled by one of the wholesalers. Wholesalers will be very passive though. Normally, they have too many products to really focus. For wholesaler, in essence, by definition, is always a passive force. Although you have wholesalers who have sales forces in some cases, um, it's more because we have everything. What do you want? So they come from a perspective of the customer, and then they are trying to fill based on what is needed. So that is basically a different thing than I'm a distributor, I'm carrying this brand, I'm going to push this brand. Do you want this brand? That's another angle that you need to consider between distributors and wholesalers. So working with a wholesaler, even though they might have a lot of customers, they might have a lot of reach, they might be perfect for you, they will not lift a finger for you. So in the end, this is one of the things that I've also learned the hard way. uh, Wholesalers are very good tool to get into the market, but it's part of the solution, not the solution itself. So they can be an element of it, so to speak. So that's something I wanted to share with you, and I hope that you are able to utilize it in the proper way. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this, please like and subscribe. If not, then don't. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for your attention.